Welcome back to Unqualified with Frank Genzano
and Dave Magaldi.
Dave, like it's been like 10, 15 days
Yeah.
since we last recorded.
We took a bye week.
We took the bye week. It's been great. We're all healed, like Jalen's knee, right? Yeah. But a lot has happened in that bye week for us.
Yeah.
Right. Number one, what happened to Kelly Oubre?
I don't know. It's some people think he faked it.
Did you see the video of him coming into his apartment from his door cam?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who his girlfriend is, but he should break up with her immediately. She didn't believe a word what happened to him, nor do the Philadelphia police.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, there's no video of it. Frank and I were going to put out a reward for the capture of this person. Well, I don't know that we can now.
No, we can't. Here's the sad part. He's highly needed
Yeah.
on the Sixers because you see the dynamic of how they move the ball and how they operate with and without the ball. Yeah. Rocco can't do it.
Right now, he's too old. I mean,
No, and it's taxing on Embiid. So Kelly Oubre being able to be that stretch forward or stretch three, whatever he is, that in that offensive rotation is missing. And all we know is he's not going to be back for a significant amount of time.
Right.
And
he's got broken ribs.
And Harry Potter witch hit him, and no one can find any.
So he was on his bike, right? So my bet is he was drunk on his bike and fucking ran into and hurt himself.
Drunk, high, a little edible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he thought the car moved.
Did he take a 50? Take a 50 milli? Oh, 50 milli Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, but listen, whatever happened, if he did get hit by a car or if he hit the car himself, whatever, who knows? But hopefully he gets back soon because they're a much better team with him.
By the way, props to him. He's got a BMX bike.
Yeah.
Right? That was pretty cool.
It is pretty
cool.
cool.
And then he was limping into his apartment, and he was like, I got hit by a car. She was like, psst. No, you didn't.
He got hit by a car.
No, you didn't. You get hit by a car. He was like, yeah, I got hit by a car. The fact that his girlfriend, I don't know who it was, didn't believe him is suspicious, okay?
Right.
Now, the Philadelphia police is also suspicious of this as well.
Yeah, well, there's cameras everywhere today, friends.
There are. That's why the gangsters are going out of business right now.
So, yeah, when we
You're just going to glaze right over that one.
Trying.
That is not stop at go. Collect $200.
But the Sixers are what, 9-3 now, right?
9-3. They won last night against Atlanta for the in-play tournament.
Yeah,
which no one still understands.
I don't understand it because the other day I thought when they lost to Indiana that they were out of the tournament, but apparently it's a full pool. I think they're basically doing it like European soccer.
They are. And someone tried to explain it to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I only watch the World Cup, so it still sounds dumb.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I think it's probably the top two teams out of the bracket will play each other to get out of the bracket, and then it'll be like a semifinal or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But people are really pissed off about this thing. I don't understand why.
But yeah, the flooring is different.
Yeah.
The bright red Sixers flooring looked egregiously horrible.
I mean, in Europe,
horrible.
In Europe and a lot of other these soccer leagues, whatever, they have these in-season tournaments. I don't see the big. They're just trying to create interest in the middle of the season.
Honestly, okay, but is there a successful pro sports tournament? Maybe because I'm a baseball guy, I really do like when they do the WBC. I really do enjoy it before the season. It's exciting.
Right.
It gives those players an opportunity to play for their country.
Right.
Good news also in the catch-up. Baseball's back in the Olympics. That's awesome.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 2028. And
very good.
Is that I think it's in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So it gives professional players an opportunity to come and play for their country.
Yeah, I love that.
You saw how our players stepped up for that. They absolutely loved it.
I also do love how the European leagues, like they have that Champions League, where the different champions from the different European leagues come and play together. That's neat.
That is neat. I forgot the name. That like if you come in last place, you're regulated.
Regulated, yeah.
Yeah, you're regulated to the minor leagues. Yeah. I would love to see that for NFL football.
Well, NFL football or even baseball, really.
Even baseball.
Baseball actually has basically the system to do it.
They really do.
Right? They have more of a European kind of a system, but I love that. You remember when I was running baseball leagues, I had an idea for a minute to try to set up leagues like that.
Right.
I just didn't have the wherewithal to spend my whole fucking life making no money. But
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, it's a hobby that took your life over. You were like on phone 10:30, 11 o'clock at night talking to grown men complaining about playing time.
yeah, right, playing time and rainouts.
Rainouts.
The guy won't call me back.
You can't get a field. You know why? Because no one cares about 35 and older baseball.
No.
That's why.
No, and they get as Frank has seen, even when you know the guys and you use your local baseball field, they get like offended that you're still capable of playing. Right?
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you want to spend 5 hours out of the house on a Sunday away from your partners?
What are you doing? I'm cleaning the field for you, dude.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to clean the field?
You see me pushing the dirt back into the holes?
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah, see all the stuff that I'm cleaning the field with? I just paid my own money for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Remember when I got yelled at for fixing the mound?
Yeah, I got the phone call for that.
On a Friday night? when nobody else was going to be there? What's this guy doing?
What are you doing? I don't know. I'm packing the mound.
Literally packing the mound.
There's 74 other things I'd rather be doing on a Friday night than being here fixing your mound.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, with metal hanging out of it.
Yeah. By the way, the field looks beautiful now over there. It
does.
Except for the outfield.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's Geese Shit Island over there.
Yeah, right. It's hard. Yeah, it's literally right into the Geese 95.
Yeah.
They literally use 95 to come up the coast anyway.
All right. Let's talk about setting some expectations for our dear beloved Eagles fans.
Yeah.
Okay. If we started the season, Dave, and you said you're going to be 11-3 by the end of the stretch,
Yeah.
you would be really excited about it, right?
I absolutely.
Right. So you're good being 3-2 in this next stretch of 5 games.
I think you have to be. I think that's a realistically.
We're not going to be. We're not going to be. Because if you lose to Dallas and you lose to the Chiefs and you beat...
we're not going to be happy.
You're not going to be happy. And the problem is the Eagles are still not playing their brand of football yet, right? They're finding ways to win, which is a sign of a good football team.
Right.
Right? But, if you lose to Dallas, you lose to the Chiefs, but you beat the Bills and you beat the Niners and you beat the Seahawks, great, right? You
should be happy.
You should be happy, but we're not going to be.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to take these next 5 games.
Okay.
Right. And I wanted to kind of break them down with you.
All right.
Specifically the Monday night game against Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you see this going for you right now? Or for the Eagles?
I feel pretty confident about it, to be honest with you. I don't know why. I feel like I should not feel, but they don't have great receivers. They really don't. So what we're weakest at, they're weakest at.
Yeah.
Right, from an offensive standpoint. And what they're strongest at, the short passing game, and running game, we're really good at. So I feel like we can win this game. The wild card for me is the Chiefs' defense is much better this year than it was last year.
Yeah, and that might be it. So
Yeah.
the 2 things that kind of worry me, number one is our linebackers against Travis Kelce. He's going to pick us apart, right?
Right.
What you saw in the second half of the Super Bowl when we had the secondary to keep up with them as well as the linebackers.
Right. I mean, he's the guy. If there's a game plan, you got to take Travis Kelce out of the game. You
Right.
got to let the other guys beat you.
Right.
I mean,
We couldn't do it with Kazir White last year, right, during the Super Bowl. And we got picked apart. And there was no adjustments made in the second half.
Right.
Nick Sirianni, I'm a full believer in, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
He's my guy. I think this is going to be a statement game. And this is the game I actually see them winning. And I see it being a close game, a 24-22, like odd score. Something odd's going to happen in this game, that late in the game that's going to favor us, either a botch punt, a missed snap, something like that is going to happen that's going to turn the tide for us in this game.
And then the other thing to think about, too, is really the Eagles lost the Super Bowl rather than Kansas City winning. Like, they made some mistakes. That fumble became huge, even though, listen, I mean, Jalen Hurts played an incredible game.
Yeah.
He made one mistake at a really bad time. And we didn't make any defensive adjustments because our defensive coach was worried about his new job. But
how's that working out for him out there?
He's doing fantastic.
It's good to see that they actually got their quarterback. And there's always a champion throughout the NFL season, and it has to be Josh Dobbs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He gets cut by Arizona.
Yep.
Gets picked up immediately by Minnesota.
Yep.
And just it kind of turns their offense around, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's not a bad quarterback. I don't know. He always puts up numbers. He's a great fantasy quarterback. That's for sure.
Yeah, he is. He is. But Andy Reid's record coming off bye. We're going back to this game real quick.
Yeah.
It's 27-4 after the bye week,
I know it's tough, and they're home.
and they're home.
Right.
And it's probably number 2 toughest stadiums to play in the NFL behind Lincoln Financial Field. It's loud there.
It is loud. I've been there before, and it's still the old stadium, right?
Yeah.
They don't have a new one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the 70s bowl stadiums that we used to have here at the Veteran Stadium. It's really tight to walk around, and so you're on top. You're kind of on top of the game. Like 80,000 fans fit in there.
Yeah.
A little old feel. I liked it there.
So 9-1 after the Monday night game against the Chiefs. We head into the Buffalo game. Buffalo comes here.
Buffalo can't beat us. I really don't think so.
Yeah.
They turn the ball over too much.
They turn the ball over too much. Their offense seems out of sync.
Yeah.
It was an offense that was highly dependent on the tight end, which that kid went off last week. Kate, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
We don't follow Buffalo sports.
Yeah.
We're only interested in Philadelphia stuff.
He's the tight end, Bo.
He's a tight end because, we're going to get beat by the tight end over there. So, they seem out of sync, their offense. Josh Allen is still big dude. If there's another team that could emulate the brotherly shove as good as us, it's probably going to be them.
Probably, yeah. He's a big, strong kid.
Big, strong kid. Then December 3rd, we have Niners at home.
At home, right? So, again, like I feel a little bit the same way about the Chiefs as the Niners. The one thing that they do great is run the ball.
Yeah.
And, can their offensive line beat our defensive line? That's the question. Now, Christian McCaffrey is a hell of a player. I still think that we're just better.
We are, but they added Chase Young at
did.
the trade deadline.
They did, right?
Yeah, and that combination looks deadly. I do see this being a revenge game, and I see us losing a close game here.
Yeah, so when we talked about doing this game by game, I had the Chiefs, them beating the Chiefs and losing to the Niners, and then I keep vacillating back and forth. But I feel like they're going to lose one of those 3 games.
Yes.
Is the way I see it. It's really hard to go and win three of those against that quality of opponent 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and then you got Dallas, and then you got Seattle, right? So like the Dallas game, I keep going back and forth like you. You're going to cough up one of those games, right? You're going to have that game this year, like the Jets, where you're just kind of out of sync. It's a long season, and I actually think a game like that is good. As long as your season isn't on the line, right?
The way I look at the Dallas game is it's probably going to be contingent on how Dallas plays up until that point.
Yeah.
Like if they fall off the map, then the Eagles probably destroy them. But if they're going strong and it's a must win for them, it's probably more of a must win for them than it would be the Eagles at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but but during this Seattle during that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game stretch, I have them losing 2.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Seattle game because I can't stomach losing to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So they're my 2 losses. I'm going to go Seattle, and I'm going to go 49ers.
Yeah.
Seattle's a tough place to play. Not that they're a better team than us.
Yeah.
It's a 7-hour flight.
Yep.
Right. It's it's kind of odd season weather-wise. Could be hot, could be cold, it could be really cold, it could be mild. It's kind of it's that time travel. If they leave on a Friday,
right,
they had that Saturday to kind of get rested and do their walkthroughs, and Sundays it's actually game day for them.
And then their last 3 games are Giants, Cardinals, and Giants.
The Giants should be regulated.
Yeah.
If we lose that game, their quarterback is Nick Genzano, whose mommy makes chicken cutlets and folds his clothes. It's the only thing he has to worry about. We're good, DeVito. Like if we lose to a Tommy DeVito, we shouldn't get the first overall pick in the play,
right.
or have the bye in the playoffs.
Yeah, right. But and Cardinals have nothing to play for, and then Giants again have nothing to play for. So again, if those games mean anything at the time, because maybe they don't. I mean, we come out 5-0. Those games aren't going to mean anything.
No, it's.
But I don't think
the Cardinal game. The Cardinals game is going to mean a little something to the Cardinals head coach.
Yeah.
To that buffoon, right? He might be one and done. It also all depends on how Kyle Murray gets a little more antiquated back into his offensive system.
Right.
I see us finishing out just with 3 losses, going 13-3.
14-3.
14-3.
14-3. Yeah, so that's what I have 14-3 or 13-4 at worst. Maybe they drop one of those late games because it means nothing. But I also can really see them. I don't see them not losing one of those 5 games, but I do see them winning. They could very well win 4 out of 5.
Here's the problem.
I don't see them losing 3.
Does 14-3 get you the bye?
I think it does.
Well, you got the Lions, who are 7-2.
That's a good point. And they
got the Bears, they got the Packers, they got the Saints, they got the Bears again. That's 4 wins probably for the Lions right there.
Right.
It doesn't get any harder for them actually after that.
Really?
No, they have the Broncos, then they have the Vikings again. That could be a game that the Vikings steal on December 24th in Minnesota.
Where's the Broncos game?
The Broncos game's at home in Detroit.
Ah, shit.
Right. But then they go to Dallas December 30th.
So that'll mean something.
That will mean something because Dallas is playing for a playoff spot at that point.
Right.
And then they have the Vikings on January 7th in Detroit. Vikings can be the spoiler for them. Even though they're at 6-4, the Vikings are actually playing for a playoff spot as well.
Right.
So the 2 Vikings games could be a tough game for them. The Dallas game could be a difficult game for them. But at 7-2 right now, the team that scares me the most for us not getting that first round bye, and the first round bye and home field advantage, extremely important that you saw last year.
Right? Yeah. It's funny that it's like the opposite in baseball.
It is.
It's strange to me, by the way.
Honestly, I don't think it really should be, because baseball is such a rhythmic sport that you're in a rhythm of playing every day. And to stop and wait and not be competitive for 5 days while the team that you're waiting to play is playing highly competitive, intense games.
Yeah.
And then they're hot coming into it and you're not. I see the disparity there. I really do. I'm just happy that the Phillies haven't been, the team that had the bye week.
Right.
They're probably never going to be the team that has a bye week in Bryce Harper's era.
Well, yeah, not with Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's just too built for the regular season.
Really. Not when, especially when they get Shohei Ohtani.
You think they're getting Shohei?
I think they do.
Yeah, let's talk about. You want to move on to the Phillies?
Yeah, let's move on to the Phillies right now, because the Mike Trout rumors are absolutely driving me crazy.
Yeah, I don't see how it happens.
I don't see how you're going to invest $1 billion into 3 players.
Right.
2 of which get hurt a lot.
Right.
Trout and Harper.
Right. I mean, could you imagine that? Like, fucking $250 or $500 million sitting on the bench.
Not 500, 700 million.
Yeah, 700
Right.
million.
If they get hurt, if both of them get hurt. So I think we need, obviously he's a hometown guy, a little long in the tooth right now. This is not 27-year-old Mike Trout anymore. I think we need to kind of really start building within. Yeah. Phillies I think they did a really good job yesterday. They tendered a lot of offers to, Bohm, Soto, Hoffman. Right. They're trying to keep their nucleus together.
I mean, I still think they're not talking enough about. They need an outfielder, I think.
Yeah.
Especially if Bryce Harper is going to be playing first base, they need an outfielder. Again, I don't think he has to be Mike Trout. I think he has to be able to, to just contribute. Maybe somebody that doesn't strike out much would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Again, and there's a lot of talk about them not bringing back Nola. I mean, Nola or a replacement for Nola is their number one priority. It has to be. But a lot of talk about them not being able to get close to his number. And then, so I don't know who they replace him with. Next week I want to talk about these underrated Phillies and Phillies history, because Aaron Nola is definitely one of them.
Has to be.
He's one of the all-time underrated players. I mean, the guy, all he did was throw a lot of innings at a high level.
And kept you in the game.
Yeah.
And the amount of hate that he got from these buffoons, didn't realize his value. Like his whip stands for walks, hits per inning, or innings pitched, was the 4th lowest of any starting pitcher in major leagues.
Right. Better than Wheeler.
Right. Occasionally he gave up a home run because he didn't have enough spin rate on his breaking ball, his changeup. It happens. But a lot of the home runs he gave up were solos.
Right. And he had a bad home run year this year. That really is what upped his ERA.
And he's contributing that to the new pitch clock.
Right.
Everyone had to make the adjustments. His adjustment came a little little later. So you don't know what kind of makeup he is with change. A lot of people don't like change and how they adjust to it and how they overcome it.
Here's the thing we do know. He can pitch in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And, we know that there's some guys that can't pitch in these big markets. I mean, that's why they're not big on the Milwaukee closer, Hader, right? Hader.
Right. Yeah.
They're not big on him because he's like a guy, he won't pitch in the 8th inning at all. He's got all these fucking rules.
Yeah.
And then you come here and you're in a fucking playoff game and you won't pitch out in the bottom of the 8th. This fucking fan base is going to fucking eat you.
Yeah. They'll eat them alive. Yeah, we don't do well with that Jonathan Papelbon. Like we don't
your prima donna nonsense. Yeah,
we don't do well with it. Like, and you got a couple blue collar, hard nosed baseball players in that that clubhouse.
Yeah.
They're not going to allow it to happen. So here was some of the transactions. Jake Cave agreed to terms. Dylan Covey and Garrett Stubbs on 1-year contracts. They failed to offer a contract to left-handed pitcher who they picked up off of waivers, Josh Fleming. Michael Lorenzen, Craig Kimbrell, and Aaron Nola, Reese Hoskins, all elected for free agency. Right. The good news there is we tendered a contract to Aaron Nola.
Right.
If he signs somewhere else, we're going to get a compensation first pick.
Yeah, compensatory pick.
Compensatory pick.
So, yeah, I mean, I really hope they re-sign Aaron Nola. There's some other guys we talked about in the past podcast. You got that Japanese kid.
Yeah, who they're big on.
Yeah, so I mean, I take that. Blake Snell maybe, but isn't Blake Snell going to cost you just as much or more than Aaron Nola?
Yeah, but it also might be the unknown of somebody new.
Right. I mean, right. You know where you're getting out of Aaron Nola. And again, starting pitching was not our problem.
No, it's the back end of the bullpen.
Right.
Yeah, always the back end of the bullpen.
And
now,
what are we going to do there? I mean, that's therein lies the problem, right? I mean, what do we do there?
What do we do there? It's their approach and bench coaching was the issue and what the reason why they lost the NLCS, right? And their chase rate was egregiously bad.
Yeah.
But their back end, if you don't get a guy like Hader, who do you get? You got to piecemeal it again.
Yeah, piecemeal.
And then hope that you have somebody come up through the minors that could help you and contribute.
I mean, other than Hader, there's no real closer out there.
No.
I mean, that guy almost doesn't exist anymore. The Mariano Rivera's of the world just don't exist right now.
No, and if they did, they would get a bag.
Yeah, they
would get absolutely a bag.
So just from looking from anybody ready to come up and contribute, top 5 Phillies prospects right now, you have Andrew Painter, who's recovering from Tommy John, so you're not going to see him until
like August
or 25. He'll start probably throwing in August, right? And then you'll see him in 25. Mick Abel's probably the only guy that might be ready to come up. He was 5-6 with a 4.13 ERA in Double and Triple A last year, but towards the end of the year he was 2-1 with a 1.63 ERA in the final 3 starts. So he's probably the guy that would most likely to come up and help, maybe late in the season. Mm-hmm. Then number 3 is Justin Crawford, still in Single A. He ripped it up in Single A last year with 3.32 average in A-ball. But he's a great defensive player. We already have one of those. He has no power at this point.
No.
So he's still working on that. And then Aiden Miller is the other is an infielder who hit 303 in Single A in 80 plate appearances.
Yeah, I want to see how they do in Double A, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of your next stepping stone. You can bypass Triple A, but I want to see how they compete against upper echelon pitching in Double A.
Right, yeah. I mean, Double A is usually the marker, right? Is where you could tell if guys can make it or not. A lot of times the higher prospects are sitting in Double A, and, like Triple A becomes a lot of times a stopping ground for guys that are almost major leaguers.
Yeah, so back to the free agency. So if it doesn't sound like any of those 5 guys are ready,
no.
you got to go after hot and heavy after Yamamoto.
I think that's right. I mean, if you're not going to sign Nola, it's got to be the Japanese kid.
Because he could be your. They're calling him a number 1 right now because his stuff is electric.
Right.
It really is.
And nobody's going to know it, right? He's going to be an unknown, which is really going to be nice for at least the first year.
First half of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until they catch up to him, until they get a book on him.
Just to put the bookend on the guys that are still in the minor leagues, the 5th guy is Griff McGarry, who fucking died in AAA last year. He went up to AAA and just got lit the hell up.
Yeah.
So he has command issues. So if he can get that together early on, maybe you see him. But he was a fucking unmitigated disaster in AAA.
All right,
So,
we got to talk because I'm starting to get a little worried about you.
why?
Your obsession with power slap. I'm a little worried about you right now.
So-
And then you sucked me in. And now I'm watching power slap videos over and over and over again. I have a slight crush on one of them. Not one of the guys, not one of the bearded guys, the girls. The Hungarian Hurricane.
The Hungarian Hurricane. So power slap videos. If anybody has been on my social media, I'm going to be doing a power slap, Angry Dave power slap of the day. And the first two were people that take handicap parking spots. So I want to give them a slap.
Oh, my God. So I'm getting in. Next one has to be people don't pick up their dog shit. Right, because I'm getting ready to get in my car this morning after I got the Magaldi entire coffee order from Homegrown. Good to see you, Jimmy, today. And there was it was horse shit next to my car. And I almost stepped in my brand new Adidas.
So if anybody saw my last rant, my last Dave's Thoughts podcast, I talked about how downtown Philadelphia on a nice 60-degree fall evening in Rittenhouse Square smelled like fucking dog shit because of everybody and their tiny little shitty dogs shitting all over the place. I hate people and their fucking dog. I love dogs. I hate the people that own them.
So can we talk back about...
Sorry. This is a sports podcast. Sorry.
I want to go back to power slap.
Yeah.
Because I'm all in now. I'm really all in on it. It's like when poker came out, right?
Yeah.
And you were watching poker and it was so underrated like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And that now you just spent hours watching other dudes play poker.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And then you sat down at a poker table and like, shit, I can't see everyone's cards.
Right.
So maybe I'm not that good at it. Hey, yo, what do you got over there? What are you holding? On TV, they show me what you're holding. That's how I could play.
Listen, it is the dumbest sport on the planet.
Yes.
Power slap.
It is.
Fucking stupid.
There's no real skill other than how can you get your hips and your shoulder and your back scapula into your slap.
Yeah.
And then hitting the side of your hand on their jawline to knock that person out.
It's the most incredibly stupid thing ever. I still don't understand the rules.
It's disrespectful. A slap is disrespectful.
But you can't stop watching it.
You can't stop watching it. And I didn't realize there's rules. Like you can't roll your face away, right? You can't back up a little bit.
You just got to stand there and get fucking bitch slapped.
Right. And then if you break the rule, if you have a penalty, that person gets to hit you again.
Oh my God.
Right.
No.
But the Hungarian Hurricane, can we talk about her?
Yeah.
And her lips, her collagen lips, and all the work that she's getting done. She went back and forth with another little girl who basically looked like a bird. And they just kept eating slaps after slap after slap. Like it was going back and forth for a while. And then she just absolutely obliterated this girl. And her face hit I don't understand what the podium is.
Yeah.
But her face hit the podium and then she knocked herself out twice. Yeah.
And what did they get, like 10 seconds to get up or something like that?
I think it's 30.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense.
How many bar fights now are going to be dudes just trying to power slap each other now, right?
It's 100%
These idiots.
gonna happen.
Listen, if it was 20 years ago, maybe 25, me and my friends would be doing this.
Dudes
so,
are fucking trying to power slap.
Yeah.
It is actually, it's harder to break your hands when you, with open fist. You know?
Open fist.
Or
yeah.
open hand. Right? I mean, in martial arts, a lot of times they really do teach you to hit with the base of your hand, right?
Right.
The palm, not...
Right here, right?
Yeah, at the bottom, right?
By the way, I know this is a podcast, but for visual, Dave is pointing towards the bottom of his hand on his palm.
The meaty part, right? That's connected to the rest of your arm.
Yeah.
Right. It's a harder surface anyway, and a lot of times, that's why guys tape their hands up when they're boxing because it's easy to break your hand.
So it makes sense.
Little martial arts lesson.
Well, here we go. 101 Judo Dave.
So anyway, you're going to continue to see my power slap of the day video. I love the videos with the MMA guys reacting.
Oh my God, it's great, right? You're huge fans. I don't know what his name is. He's probably a Russian Malcolm Madoff fighter, whatever you want to call him. Right. The one dude, his eye was basically coming out of his socket. He was all bruised, and he ate another slap.
Unbelievable.
His reaction to that was unreal. There's another guy, I think he broke his nose. He got knocked out, and the bridge of his nose hit the podium.
Yeah.
Right. Those guys were really, like, even the guy that hit him was like, fuck. This dude is in a lot of danger right now.
You know what I still don't like? I still don't like when, like, you literally just knock the dude out, and he's fucking right in a coma.
Yeah.
Like, don't fucking dance over top of him.
No.
I hate that stuff.
Come on.
But I still can't.
You went first. How's that?
Right.
Who picks who goes first?
I don't know.
Right. I want to be first all the time.
I do not want to go second.
No. Just like I want to be knowing what the other poker player has underneath.
Yeah.
Like,
there's no chance I would ever. This is not fucking football. I'm not deferring to the second
never.
half.
We're not going to defer. But what if you did defer and you ate that dude's slap, and now he's got to watch you eat his slap? Think about all the emotion that gets drained out of that opponent, your opponent.
You've seen some of those too, where the dude just fucking stares him down like he didn't hurt.
Yeah. Well, the Hungarian Hurricane blew a kiss at the girl after she slapped him. You know how disrespectful that is? Jesus. God bless.
So how about an even more ridiculous sport, hobby horse?
All right, that needs a power slap. All right, we need to unpack this right now. The biggest hobby horse championship happened recently out in the West Coast. If you don't know what hobby horse competition is, it's a bunch of teenage girls running around in Lululemon pants with a hobby horse between their legs, going over obstacles.
Jumping.
Right. The Illuminati has absolutely invented this sport. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Wait, what was the guy that was bringing Epstein?
Epstein.
Epstein's running this from hell.
Yes, exactly. Him and Trump would be front and center.
100%. Oh, God.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, God. The hobby horse is grabbing them in the...
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So the girls create their own little hobby horse, and they do trots around a rink.
Right.
And they get graded on...
It's basically equestrian, right? It's
yeah.
equestrian on a hobby horse.
Right. Who's going to be the next Jean-Benet Ramsey from the hobby horse champion?
There's no question that some little girl's going to get abused.
Right. This is the biggest pervert. It has to stop. A bunch of perverts are doing this. It needs to stop.
It's like all the fucking men that were doing, were gymnastics trainers.
Yes.
How'd that work out?
It didn't work out really well for any of them.
Yeah. Well, in the long run.
But hobby horse champion, I want you when you post this,
Yeah.
I want you to post the video of these girls running around in their Lulus, trotting with a hobby horse that they made between their legs, going over an equestrian course.
Yeah. I am going to power slap this today.
Yes, this is getting power slapped today. And I hate that your wife brought this to our attention. I really do. I'm not going to lie.
Fucking hobby horse.
Right. There's the Artemis Hobby Horses. She's got 40,000 subscribers on YouTube.
God damn it.
This is creepy.
It's so creepy. I'm going to try to use the momentum of Power Slap to create some momentum for this podcast. However, I promise I will not use the momentum of hobby horses.
There's instructional videos.
Oh, God.
How you could focus on your power jumps.
Oh, God. Can you imagine how many fucking perverts have those videos?
I hate this world anymore. I really do.
Is it informed by the fact that you have a 16-year-old daughter?
Yeah, but who's driving now?
Oh, really?
They're both driving.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So we're gonna talk about some of the challenges right now, because Nikki yesterday drove home from school, which is located in Pensacola, New Jersey, over the bridge.
Yes.
In rush hour Friday traffic. He did fantastic.
I'm sure he did.
The last time Marissa drove with me, she pulled her seat up, she grabbed both hands on the wheel, and she waited for the car to go for her. She didn't put it in gear. For parents that are just teaching their kids to drive in the Philadelphia area, I highly recommend bringing them down to Navy Yard after hours.
Yeah.
Okay. It emulates a street. There's cars. You could practice parallel parking. Marissa did really well. Like, once she got the car in gear.
Right.
Difficult time stopping, like having a feel for the brake.
Oh, yeah, that's a normal thing.
Yeah. Backing up into an unoccupied or a vacant parking lot between the lines. We have difficulty with that, even though we have a camera.
Yeah.
That's one of her challenges as well. And then
these kids don't know the way it was back in the day. You had to fucking spin your head around.
right, you had to put your arm behind the thing. Right. She does great with coming to a complete stop at the stop sign. She does really good. She understands the proper acceleration, taking your foot off the accelerator and then, braking, but she doesn't have a feel for the brake yet. And left-hand turns. So teenagers and seniors have difficulty making left-hand turns.
What is that about?
I don't know, but I've been taking Dramamine every time I take both of them out driving.
Yeah, listen, I'm sure they're both nice kids. I'm sure they're both talented human beings. They'll figure it all out. I'm fucking still terrified.
I'm terrified. I mean, the number one cause of teenage death is them driving, right? Yeah. And here's the other sad part that I'm really sad that I have to train both of them is when in Philadelphia or in Pennsylvania, you have to pump your own gas. You have to be your awareness, right? Because there's a lot of carjackings happening right now, a lot of muggings, possibly kidnapping, just being aware. I'm not so worried for Marissa.
Yeah, right.
Right. Nicky is, he's a guy, he's a kid.
A little bit oblivious as all
right.
men are generally.
Marissa understands. I'm like, hey, if you're pumping your own gas, like if somebody approaches you that you feel uncomfortable, what are you going to do? She said, I'm going to take the gas hose out of the car and spray the guy with gas. I'm like, that's maybe the number one best tactic because no one wants to be doused with gas.
Yeah, right.
Right. If they have a gun, they can't discharge a gun because they're going to catch on fire. That was her.
Right.
I mean, that little savage told me that was what she's going to do to protect herself.
Yeah, brilliant idea.
Yeah.
But, I mean, gas stations, especially in the inner city, can be really fucking strange places.
Yeah, they really are.
They just bring every vagrant and fucking degenerate in the world that hangs out outside of them.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in an urban gas station and in hobby horse equestrian championship rings.
So just briefly, the Flyers, to give you catch up, they were 4-1 on their road trip recently. They started off very badly with a terrible loss to the Sharks, who were, but then they won 3 in a row, 4 in a row, right?
4 in a row. They play 1:00 today against the Golden Knights, who's 13-3.
Right.
I love matinee hockey games, dude.
Yeah,
I really do. So that's happening today at the Wells Fargo Center.
So 8-7-1 all together. They are middle of the pack.
How do you feel about that?
It seems like they're advancing faster than we thought they would, right? So they are overachieving. That's a good thing.
Carter Hart's playing really well.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. If you're resetting and you're winning, good for you.
Yeah, they're better than the Penguins, which
That's
I'm happy about.
Yeah,
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Philadelphia Union are in the conference semifinals on 11/25 at home. They are playing Cincinnati. Who they split with in the regular season. So I just learned, because I know nothing about MLS soccer, that they have a 3-game series in the first round, and then every round after that is just one game, which is strange to me.
Yeah.
So the conference semis, the conference finals, and then the finals are just one game. And then we also have a new Premier Outdoor Lacrosse League team.
Are they called the Water Dogs?
They're called the Water Dogs.
Yeah. My son was telling me. Nikki was telling me about this. We had a great time, by the way. We went and did the upper deck golf out around Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah.
Really cool, by the way.
Awesome.
I don't know if it was worth the $100 that we spent per golfer.
Oh, really?
But it was really cool to be there. Maybe one of the most romantic places, maybe for me, is being in an empty baseball stadium or or field when it's quiet and you have a few lights on.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. But now we get to hit some golf balls, right? Yeah. Which was a lot of fun.
It's got the reverberation of the golf ball has to be cool too, right?
Yeah, you couldn't. By the way, I put one in the concourse from the third base side. So they had 9 holes set up throughout the stadium.
Yeah.
Second deck, like Hall of Fame club, and then third deck, right? And then Nikki's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, a 9-iron. And we weren't really keeping score. We're just kind of working on our golf swing and having fun, right? Just enjoying each other's company. And then I'm at the third base side, and I have a pitching wedge. And I hit it into the golf course, in the concourse, where people are walking from one hole to another. It was like somebody threw a grenade There were people diving all over the place.
Wait.
Oh, look at us. We're fancy now. Oh,
So-
you fancy.
So everybody, one podcast ago, I finally learned how to use my podcast equipment because I spent $12 on a memory card. So the sound should be better moving forward.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to give you a shout out because I'm really proud of you. You're investing. It's I think it's your 75th or 78th podcast that you've done so far. But your first podcast, and this speaks to a testament of moving forward and continuing to grow.
Yeah.
Your first podcast isn't going to be great, right? But just do it,
Right.
And we're finding all of the, by we I mean you.
Yeah.
Just got the boy that brings over the coffee before the podcast. That you're finding all of these yeah, why can't I talk on a Saturday? Amalgamata, Hooked on Phonics worked for me. Intricacies. Oh my God, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to go fuck myself. All right. I'm just proud of you that you're investing and you're learning more and more about this to get a better quality podcast. Yeah, I did that. I shit the bed.
So now I have sound effects now that I can use because I'm actually using the actual podcast equipment that I invested in. It's a long story, but I was putting it into the computer. I don't know what
Dave, do me a favor. Just give me a 2-minute. If you're starting a podcast,
Yeah.
right? What are some of the things that a new podcaster should kind of really focus on to help them, so they don't have the failures or the trial and tribulations that you went through?
So you need you need editing software, right? So Odyssey is a great thing to use to edit. You'll learn as you go. It's really very simplistic, but watch a video on Odyssey. But like I have a Rodecaster, a podcast equipment, right? Get yourself like a Rodecaster or something like that where you can plug the mics in directly and get a memory card and record your podcast into the actual Rodecaster or whatever company that you have. And then you transfer that into the audio editing. You don't have to use Odyssey. There's other things out there. That's what I've been using. But to use the power of that thing that you're buying, the equipment, you have to, to use all of the different features, you have to record directly into your podcasting equipment. That's what I've learned over time. Mics do matter.
Yeah, they do.
They're really, because early on you did it with the other mics that I had. Just make an investment. I know the sound, but it's probably about to get started. If you just want 2 mics and a podcasting equipment, you can get them used $500-$600. It's well worth it if you're going to do it. And then my next advice is just to do what I did and just record, open your mouth, and start, and figure it out along the way. Figure out what people seem to like, what you like to do. If you like what you're doing, it'll be better.
It will be. And I give you a lot of credit because when you first started doing this, your first podcast, the first episode 1 was just you talking into the mic,
Right.
sharing your story.
Right.
Right. And I think that was maybe new podcasters kind of get into analysis paralysis. They don't know what to talk about.
Right.
And I thought that was a great job for you. And then you started bringing in interesting people that you were aware of who are normal, everyday people. I was honored that you had me on your podcast, and we literally talked for 3 hours on an hour podcast.
So something that other people should know when you have to get a podcast, something to deliver your podcast into the world. I signed up for Spreaker. There's, again, different ones that'll put your podcast out to the different places like Spotify and that kind of thing. But you have to pay for a subscription to somewhere where you to distribute it in the world.
And listen, the costs will be mitigated once you get a sponsor.
Do we have one?
We don't.
We don't.
We don't have a sponsor yet.
No.
It's a good thing I ordered $1,200 worth of lunches from one of our really good friends.
Who's that?
I don't know. I don't want to say his name. I don't want to give him a shout out.
He might have had a baby at 50.
Congratulations, by the way.
Congratulations.
She's beautiful.
She really is beautiful. He makes beautiful babies.
He does. It has nothing to do with him.
It has nothing. He has sex with beautiful women, apparently.
Convinces those women to have sex with them. Yeah.
All right. So we have anything else on the catch up? We talked about the Flyers. We talked about the Union, the new lacrosse team. We talked about the Phillies. I think we're done.
A bunch of perverts that are sponsoring hobby horse competitions.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
That needs to end immediately. Immediately.
Yeah.
I just want to preface it. Go on to Google and YouTube, and I want your honest reaction to this. I want you to Google hobby horse competition, and I want your immediate first take on what your thoughts are watching a bunch of teenage girls with a made-up hobby horse gallop around an equestrian course doing different trots and jumping over obstacles. I was appalled. I was actually disgusted watching this. I think it is appalling, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
You had a really visceral reaction there, buddy.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
How about slap fighting?
I'm starting to become a fan. I'm not going to lie.
Me too. You know, Dana White bought the league or whatever, and he's like, "You guys are shitting on it, but it's gonna sell." And that guy has not been wrong very much.
We talked about it. Like, there's no technique, right? I think on one of our earlier Unqualified podcasts, we talked about it. We didn't get it right, but now, like I found myself last night before I went to sleep scrolling.
Yeah.
And it was about 30 minutes of just other people just eating slaps.
Slapping the shit out of each other.
Right. Yeah.
You know, there's all this stuff about women's sports leagues, transgender athletes. Maybe, I don't know if this is the time to talk about it or not, but
maybe not after we're talking about hobby horse championships.
Yeah.
But
I mean, so here's my opinion. Women's leagues, obviously I support women in sports. In college, you know, we should have equal opportunity, fully support that stuff. When it comes to professional leagues, I don't understand the belly aching when a women's league doesn't perform well or people aren't seeing it.
Yeah.
It's not my job to want to watch the sport. Like the WNBA is a fucking unmitigated disaster. Nobody watches it.
Let me ask you this, but do you watch women's college basketball?
At times, I do like I watch women's college softball.
Okay, so do I. I actually watch that a lot more than people would understand.
Yeah.
Right.
Women's tennis is something I always used to watch. I haven't been watching it lately, but growing up, I watched it all the time. It's a more of a serve and volley game, so there's a little bit more action. It's fun to watch. There are things that do succeed. If it doesn't succeed, then that's what the market bears, right? I mean, and that's my opinion, right? There shouldn't be necessarily equal pay. There should be equal pay for if you have the same amount of viewers.
So if the WNBA was vastly outperforming the NBA, then you're all for equal pay. We're actually
no, I would say if they
earn more.
They would earn more.
Right.
The market bears what the market bears.
Right.
That's my opinion. So I just don't understand the belly aching like I'm supposed to all of a sudden like this sport. That, you know, like NBA basketball versus women's basketball, it doesn't compare in the athleticism. It's not as fun to watch. It just isn't. I tried to watch it, and I don't like it.
So let me give you a little more analytics. WNBA's average 728,000 views audience per game, which is an increase of 36% over last year's finals. So we're talking about the actual finals.
Yeah.
NBA finals, 1.94 million.
So 3 times.
3 times as much.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're making probably way more than 3 times as more, though.
Yeah, they have close to about 11.3 rating, which is around overall 22% share, around 20 million viewers on average. Like, that was the best NBA rating game ever, according to Wikipedia, which is a trusted source.
And then how about the WNBA?
728 million, or it's 1,000. 728,000. That was it.
So 20 million versus 728,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're getting paid vastly more, and they deserve vastly more because the advertisement dollars are just there. I mean, they just are.
Women's tennis, though, I mean, they're equally paid. Women's golf, not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, but I think women's tennis does real well in the world.
Yes, it does.
Again, and then I'm probably going to go here and get the 200 people to listen to this podcast, get it down to about 150.
Don't worry, my wife doesn't listen. So
good. All right, good.
She asked me where I was going, and I told her told her where I was going. She was like, "Oh, you're still doing that?"
Well, so the transgender men or transgender women in women's athletics can't get on that train, bro. I just can't.
Yeah.
Now, if you stop, your hormone treatments before puberty and you're actually consistent with a women's chemical makeup, then maybe I would come on board with that. But the way it currently is, men are just physically bigger and stronger than women, and women in a professional environment cannot compete with the top level of men.
No,
So if you are biologically born a male, I have and you transition into a female, I don't have any problem with that whatsoever. Everybody should live their truth. However, that truth doesn't mean that you get all access to everything all the time. Everybody has consequences to the way they want to live. And again, competing against somebody that you're just biologically, physically stronger than is not fair. That's why women's sports exist. Otherwise, women's sports would not exist, and it would just be one NBA, right? But especially in these fucking physically athletic sports, football, MMA.
Yeah.
MMA? Are you fucking kidding me?
I want to say this, that you're probably one of the most progressive people that I know.
Yeah.
Right. For you to make that statement, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Where we're seeing the biggest discrepancy is actually in college sports right now.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, I have a 16-year-old daughter. She's fairly athletic.
Yeah.
If she was a wrestler and she was wrestling at whatever her weight class is, I almost got in a lot of trouble right there. I almost got in a lot of trouble. And then there was a biological male who identifies as a female wrestling against her. I don't know if I would be okay with that.
It's just not fair.
Right.
That's all I'm saying about it. And again, I do feel like, and a lot of times it is actual biological women, people, cisgendered women, right, that were born, that are fighting for this harder than anybody.
Yes.
And it's almost, it's literally, to me, it's everything that the women's liberation movement fought for to give women access. You're allowing biological men, right, transgender women, to take that from you. The prime example, the easiest example to see is that swimmer from Penn.
Yeah.
Who was a very average swimmer in the men's league. Starts the transition, was not fully transitioned, right? But identified as a woman, went on to the women's Penn team. She takes and she breaks the fucking college record. The same day that they tied, they both broke the record. One woman that had been swimming her whole life. And then they gave the transgender woman the one gold medal that they had. It's just not fair. Like, she was like number 100 on the list the year before when she was swimming against men, and then she goes and swims against women and breaks a fucking record.
Yeah, so disclaimer, we're not here arguing that we want you to live your truth. We want you to be comfortable.
Yeah.
We want you to be happy, well-adjusted human being. If you're comfortable identifying as
Absolutely.
another sex, we're all for it.
All for
right?
it, 100%.
I think you had a pretty interesting take on how you would move forward with athletics and having their own category. Do you want to talk about that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my idea is, if you can have a transgender category, right?
Yeah.
And then, again, like biological people fighting against like biological people. Again, I understand that gender and biology are different, and are many genders, and I'm perfectly willing to accept that, right? That there's a spectrum, and not everybody is the same. But, biology is biology. You are born with male parts, you're born with female parts. That's true. I'm just saying. And then when you are born with male parts, there are some things like testosterone that you have more of that make you bigger and stronger. I just want you to fight against like people.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah. So, this is, our nation's very divided right now.
Yeah.
Laws around transgender students' participation in sports are quickly and swiftly changing.
Yeah.
There are 20 states as of right now that have passed legislation barring transgender students from participating in sports that align with their gender identity.
And I hate that, because then again it's ostracizing people that are already ostracized,
Yeah.
right? So why not find a solution? And the solution is, can't there be a third category, or four? Right, I would say four categories, right?
Yeah, there should be four at that point.
The other, right? The two other categories,
Yeah.
which is, I don't know. That seems to be a progressive approach to me. I know some people will probably be offended by that, but I want people to live their truths. I don't want an unfair advantage.
Right. So
against women.
if you want a more inclusive society, right?
Yeah.
Then that's probably a direction we should be going.
Right, and then there should be enough high school and college athletes to compete. Even if it's a smaller league, it's a smaller league. Who cares?
Yeah, the sad part is, high school athletics are already dying right now.
Right.
They're dying a very slow death. They're becoming the frog in a frying pan.
Yeah, that's probably a podcast for another day, because of probably travel sports is probably part of it.
Yeah, and it's something that I could unpack because I'm an expert in it.
And then the other thing is not wanting to invest in it.
Right? I'm actually seriously considering starting my own organization.
Yeah.
Travel baseball organization. But I have the means now that I have this experience that we can make it worth the student athletes worthwhile, right? It's not just about baseball development, which it is, nutrition, which it is, getting you ready for high school baseball, which it is, also getting you ready for college baseball. And then I have a mechanism that I could help these athletes pay for college. Right. So I have a partnership that I've been talking to someone. There's over 400 different colleges that allow you to be a part of this organization. You get additional college funding, and it equates to at least 1 year of college tuition.
Awesome.
Now, if you don't decide to go to one of those 400 schools, that could be gifted to any family member. First cousin, second cousin, sibling, third cousin, fourth cousin, if you're in Alabama. It doesn't matter. So, I think there is a way to fix travel sports, youth sports, is to have more of a developmental mindset that it's, this is your business, fine. It's become a business, right? But if you're going to profit off of this, make it worth the student athletes worthwhile, and the family as well.
And we need to find a way to include kids that are disadvantaged.
So not disadvantaged. Let's just say they're at a different skill level, right? Yeah. The little leagues and the Cal Ripkens used to be for the everyday baseball player.
Right.
The problem is the mindset of parents that think that they're better than that, and their athlete is better than that, or their child's better. They're not.
Right.
They're not.
And then everybody that has the means is taking their kid out of those organizations so they can't exist.
Exactly.
Or then when they do exist, the baseball or whatever sport it is fucking putrid.
Right. And instead of making this an enjoyable experience for your child, and I might get slightly emotional about this, but our local little league, like my son absolutely cherished those days. Yeah. We drive by that field every day. And he talks about the relationships and the memories he has playing there, and he misses playing there. But, that came from me, right? That came from the parent, because that gave him an opportunity to play with one of his best friends that wasn't going to play on his travel team. Right. But it gave him the opportunity to play with his best friend, who's now a great athlete in rowing. Yeah. Right? Or crew. They call it crew.
Crew, right.
Right. But, that he won a champion. His last game that he played on that field, he won a championship with his best friend.
Right.
You don't get that memory back.
No, and it's all about, and again, and most kids are not even going to play college baseball. Most kids, right?
Most kids don't play high school baseball.
Right. So, again, it really has to be about having fun and learning skills for life, being a teammate, perseverance, those types of things, getting better, working hard. I tell my kids this all the time. They're not team sports kids. They're not really sports kids, but they do judo. And I tell Nick all the time, he's struggling a little bit right now. He's 11 years old. He's sort of like in a weird spot at the gym because there's a lot of young kids, and there's a couple older kids that really probably should be in the adults class at this point. Yeah. So he's like in the middle there, and he's not progressing the way he wants to progress or the way he had been in the past. And
because the kids he should be competing against have already reached puberty. They're stronger, they're faster than him.
Right.
It's not fair to him. And then the younger kids aren't at his skill level yet.
Right. So yeah, he literally, like, 11 is like the worst age for any of these sort of like physical sports, right? Especially when you got 13-year-olds that are, just went through the roof, right? But in any event, like the point is you're learning perseverance skills. They do really well in school. School comes easy for them. It's something that's hard that you got to work at. And that's what sports gives you. And also friendships that are lasting and memories and things that, nobody remembers results of games. They remember goofy things that happen or, friendships you made out of it. Even as an adult, I've made, 30, 40 really good friends over the years from just playing sports. And that's what it has to be for the kids.
You're still friends with them.
Yeah, most of them.
Case in point, when we went to the McGaldy compound, right, Steve Perini's there, who's your childhood friend, who I played high school sports with. And, we have a connection there.
Right, and right? Steve really opened it up all for me, right, because he was the one playing men's baseball before me, brought me in. And I mean, hundreds of people I've met, literally 20 or 30 friends, longtime friends, lifetime friends that I could call up. And, like you, obviously I met you really through Steve. We were South Philly guys, but we didn't really know each other.
And now you hijacked all of my friends.
Yes, but that's exactly right. Right, so I wasn't even considering them. But
every member on your podcast was my friend first.
I had the last two interviews I did was Flacco and Ricky Lee's, both
exactly.
Ginzano friends.
Right, Ganone. Right. My high school sweetheart, next door neighbor. Yeah.
But in any event, I mean, I would love to be a part of that. Just making it a little bit more affordable and just more realistic. A more realistic goal of improving. Yes, the top level kids you really want to push, right? But giving that opportunity to a lot of different kids and the development and bringing it back to that like the all-star team from the local little league.
Yeah. Yeah, and giving those kids who excelled the opportunity to play for their little league.
You remember when we were kids, it was a big deal.
Huge deal.
You had to go try out. Mm-hmm. Some kids you knew were going to make it, right? They didn't really have to try out because they were so exceptional.
Yeah.
But you had to go try out for your all-star team, for your little league team or the Babe Ruth teams or whatever.
Yeah. But now if your son doesn't make it,
now you just go start a new fucking team.
It's so stupid.
Or if you don't make it, they start a B team or a C team.
Right.
And then
it's watered down. So those B and C teams, right, you may have some athletes on there that are good, right? But go get good at your local little league. Go build your confidence there, right? And then if you want to invest in your child, then go get him an expert, a real expert.
Right.
Not Joey Bag of Donuts that needs the $40. He's going to teach you a half-hour hitting lesson, and he's teaching you all the wrong things, right?
Frank, how many launch angle kids did you see over the years?
A lot.
I mean, I told you about a kid that we had at Gamp. Nice kid.
Majestic pop-ups, you would say.
Majestic infield pop-ups. The most beautiful infield pop-ups I've ever seen. But he could not square a ball up.
Yeah.
And he would not listen to anything I had to say because Joey Bag of Donuts that played in Division II told him.
Hey, listen, don't shit on Division II right now.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. But
college baseball is getting ready to become really interesting.
No, I get with all all the changes. I mean, I'm not shitting on. There's a lot of, and baseball in particular, that there's some low level Division I programs that can't compete with the higher level Division II programs. There's no question
because they're not paying for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the same like. Football Division I and Division I AA or whatever they call it now. There's a clear difference. But baseball is a little bit different of a landscape. I think other smaller sports, money standpoint, are like that too.
Yeah,
you can go to a real strong Division III program, and it's a better program than
most mid majors right now. Right, but the LSU's, Alabamas, the Floridas, they're paying for talent.
Right.
Through the NIL deals right now. Yeah, we need to unpack this. This probably might be a two-parter when we talk about youth sports in America today.
Oh, yeah. By the way, just so everybody knows, Frank is the only podcast where I have two parts, and you know why that was? You know why that is?
Why?
Because early on, when you're first starting your podcast on Spotify, you only get about an hour and 20 minutes. So, but once you're past 10 episodes, they give you more points. So
you need to add that to your little tidbit of information.
Yeah, that's a little tidbit is just until you got like 10 episodes, keep it to under an hour and 20 minutes, and then you don't have to split the two podcasts.
Tell your friend to shut up and stop guilting you during the podcast.
I vacillate between this one too, where I keep wanting to go back and combine your two episodes.
Yeah.
And just because I feel fucking stupid that it's really one episode.
Right.
But you have to do it in two parts. But then part of me is like, yeah, it's history.
History. Yeah. Like the one you did with John.
Yeah.
17 parts.
Johnny Wheels, 3 hours, 3 hour episode. It was actually a very interesting episode. Oh, should I not have said Wheels? That's what we call him.
That's what we call him. No, I'm really proud of myself. I just stopped myself.
Oh, you stopped yourself.
Yeah, I love that guy so much. I miss him. John, I miss you. You're a great dude.
He's a fucking amazing dude. Did you listen to the podcast and talk about your brother?
Yeah, I did.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that sound was bad. I fucked that sound up. And then anyway.
Sorry. It sounded like you were doing it in a freight train. John, tell me how that felt.
It's good. It's good. It does sound like it's in a warehouse, for sure.
All right, my friend.
We got anything else?
No, let's. I'm looking forward to this weekend of football.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Monday night, and we'll chop it up during the week. We just got to find the time to do it.
Yeah, find the time to do it. A little bit hard these days, especially with the holidays coming up, but we will do it. And next time, I'm going to talk about my most underrated Phillies in Philadelphia history.
Love it. I want to hear it.
All right.
We out.
Peace.